सर्व वेदांत सिद्धांत गोचरम तमगोचरम गोविंदम परमानंदम सद्गुरुं प्रणतोस्म्यहम्. So, as we have been seeing this Vijanamaya kosha and Atma, because in especially Viveka Chudamani, there are many verses on Vijanamaya kosha. In between he brought Atma, again continuing Vijanamaya kosha, because the Vijanamaya kosha is the most confusing one, having proximity with the Atma, the self. So in the last verse it was being highlighted. This is the declaration of the scriptures, Shrutehe Matam. And what is that? So Shrutehe Matam is this, that Brahmatmekatva Vijnanam Samyak Jnanamiti. So that means what? Binivritti bhave tasya samyak jnanena na anyatha. That means the false knowledge, the erroneous knowledge will get resolved or will not have that much impact. It will be like exactly dagdha bijavat, like a roasted seed. It will not be able to generate or germinate a new thing. So that means the impact of its functioning, can you see this point? Like, this is the beautiful way of looking at it. Like the rope that was lying down was for me a snake. Once the knowledge comes, rope does not vanish. Snake also doesn't vanish. Remember, rope doesn't vanish. I am giving you one more step. Snake also doesn't vanish. What vanishes? Hey, look, I was looking at that rope as a snake. That's why I was afraid. I was scared. The fear only got vanished. Can you see this point? Sometimes you will try to say what? Hey, look how stupid I was seeing the snake. So that means the snake buddhi continues. The rope buddhi continues. So everything continues. But the effect of the erroneous knowledge, can you see this point? Ceases. That doesn't have any impact in me. That is how I am able to refer. That is how the teaching continues. So that's why this knowledge, Samyak Jnanena. So what is that Samyak Jnanena? That identity between or seeing the oneness between me, the self, and the absolute called Brahman as one and self. So this what happens once this knowledge is there, again me as an individual sometimes will continue. But the effect of this erroneous knowledge will not create any disturbance in me. Can you see this point? It will continue because as long as I look at this body, mind, complex, then next moment what I say? Okay, hey body, be careful. Oh mind, be careful. So when I say, oh body, be careful, that means what? The individual is associating myself with this called Annamaya Sharira or Spula Sharira. Annamaya kosha or Spula Sharira. With this, now let us look at the next verse. Tadatmanatmano samyake vivekeneva siddhyate tato viveka kartavyah Pratyekatma sadatmana. I think we had seen this verse also. So that's why what happens? One is supposed to give importance to what? Atma anatmayoho viveka. Because only by discrimination, vivekena eva, only by this discrimination between atma and anatmana, self and non-self. So this knowledge is being established. That's why tataha, therefore what one should do? Viveka kartabhyaha, strengthen the power of discrimination at any given moment, any given situation. So allowing the mind to dwell upon the teaching more and more, because only teaching helps to strengthen the viveka, nothing else. That's why between what? Pratyekatma sadatmana, between not any other thing, between not your logic and the scripture, but here is between Atma, you and the totality. Okay? Then he says, how? He gives the example. Now let's read. Jalam pankavadhatyantam pankapaye jalam sputam yatha bhati tathatmapi dosha bhave sputah prabha. He gives a very beautiful example. I don't know whether you have seen or not, because this is how we have seen, especially in this mango season. Suppose if you have a small water body, like a pond, and generally in Orissa we used to have, there will be a pond, small, and of course in that pond all the sides trees will be there and mango trees will be there. And inevitably what will happen? All the leaves will fall inside that pond. And generally we don't use those set of pond for bathing or any other purpose. So that pond is very nice. Then what happens? Interestingly, there is a lot of mud, slushy mud, because all these leaves starts falling there and starts stinking up. You cannot think of. In fact, we don't put lake. But during mango season, we are helpless to enter inside, okay? Because all the mango and the best mango goes inside, okay? Because whatever falls by itself, ripens. Because those days we don't, pluck and keep it in the home, nothing. Whatever falls, that is the best mango, okay? Ripen and falls down. Wow, what a beautiful thing to happen. And 4 mangoes, they fall, and many mangoes, they get destroyed inside. When you put the hand, you see the mango is gone, okay? That time you will also, I should have searched more. What I am highlighting here is, when the place, or when the water is full of this slushy mud down below, and when sunlight falls, you will see a lot of bubbles. I am extending the example very lively, okay? Because when heat comes, heat also goes down. Now all these leaves or the slushy mud starts, creating bubbles. And the water will not be transparent. In fact, sometimes the water will stink externally. So now if that is the case, the water is supposed to be transparent. Because here is being simple said that, I'll give you another example. So this is one example. Then what you need to do there, if you want to have a transparent water that free from all odors, what you need to do? First you need to take out all this slushy mud. Can you see this point? Unless and until all the mud from the down below is being removed, definitely you cannot have transparent water, nor that odors. Impossible. And also you have to allow it very carefully. You have to work in such a way that don't allow the leaf to fall inside. That is also equally important. Or else quicker it will become Same old method. This is one example. Now here is another example also. Let us say water is muddy. If water is muddy, because here I am talking about the layers, okay? I will give you the connection later on. But when water is muddy, that means the mud and water are one and same. So the transparency of water is missing and not usable either. In fact, it becomes dirty. If you want to wash your cloth, it becomes different color altogether. Sometimes in Chennai we get, okay, all the dress, you know what happened to many of you. However, coming back to the point here, when this water is diluted with mud, mixed with mud, what you need to do? You allow the water to settle down for some time. Then when the mud settles down, then again you need to remove it. So also oneself. And our impurity is called raga, dvesha, vasanas. So the impurities are nothing but my raga, dvesha and my vasana. So if that also works, wow, let us take the first example. Now each moment my raga, dvesha, like in the form of leaves, are falling. And vasanas are there, stronger. And because of that reason, I stink. Because it is me when it is being expressed externally, always through the vasanas. Just look at yourself. When you talk, when you walk, when you move, each of your movement, is it based on the knowledge or based on your vasana? All the time based on what? Vasana. That's why when you walk, there is no confidence. Can you see this point? When you talk, there is no confidence. That is what I was talking about competence before. That's why upasaka, the one who does upasana, because that person is not able to associate one's own self with what? With vasana. That's why you can say upasaka walks differently, talks differently. Have you not observed this point in your life? Because the moment you dissociate yourself from your vasana, you see a big change in you. In fact, you are more available, more useful for yourself and for others. So that is one type. Another one is that muddy water. So vasanas comes once, or the any given situation you have lot of likes and dislikes. That you is polluted for some time. But what you do, you keep polluting, keep yourself busy, you never really look down or settle down. There also you need to settle down. Can you see this point? Because once you settle down, you will discover the vasanas also will subside. Have you not observed this point in your life? That's why sometimes elderly people will say, hey look, allow the time to heal you. Allow the time to take care of you. Allow the time to do what is to be done. This is what elderly people closing their eyes, they advise us. It may not be that much great wisdom, but definitely it is something from their own experience. And it talks, it works. That's why it says beautifully that when dosha abhave, so in the absence of the impurities, atma sputa prabhaha, So definitely the Atma shines clearly because it is self-shining. You don't have to do anything. How? Let us look at the next verse. Asannivrittau tu sadatmana spushtam pratitiretasya bhavit praticam. Tato nirasah karaniya eva. Sadatmanah sadhyahamadi vastunah. Says beautifully. So how? Says that asat nibruto tu sadatmana sputam pratiti bhaveta. How? Sadatmanah sadhu aham adi vastunah. So when you discover the self is no more connected to unreal self, means self is not connected to not self. And what are they not self? Non-self. That is what he says. What is that? Aham adi vastunah iti. So not self is what? Non-self is what? Starting with ego, ahankara, aham, mamakara, minus, and many other things. So that means when this me, which is called what? Sadatmanah, as this self which is everywhere is being removed, or all this unreality or non-self is removed from this, then what happens? Then of course now I start looking at me as free from everything. So when I am free from everything, and when it is possible, when the self that is eternal, Sadatmana, that which is everything, and of course when all this Anatmana is being removed, I shine as I am. If this is the case, then what I need to do here? Tataha. Therefore, this is to be karaniyam. This is to be nirasaha karaniyam. Nirasa means removal is to be done. And how? Says, look, from the Sadatmana, that which is eternal, the self that is eternal, ahamadi vastunaha, starting with ego and etc., to be removed. So how to remove it? Here is very simple. Creating a distance, seeing the limitations. Here one need not remove physically. Here you need not fight. Here using your discrimination, before was Viveka, using your discrimination, you need to see the distance. You need to create the distance. What in psychological language we use? Learning to objectify. The more and more I see my ego, the more and more I see my arrogance, the more and more I see my likes and dislikes and their consequences, the more they lose their strength. That seeing themselves, please understand, most important thing is seeing themselves make them weaker. You don't have to do anything. The more and more you see, but unfortunately we don't see, we want to show. We don't want to see our ego, but we want to show up our ego. Have you not observed? We don't see our arrogance. We want to show up our arrogance. Me seeing is one thing, showing up is another thing. I want everybody to see my ego, but I must not see my ego. So seeing is making them weaker. Showing is nothing but making them strong. Can you see this point? So that's why it's being very clearly highlighted. Learn to objective part. Learn to create a distance between the self and non-self. And the more the person is able or capable of doing, definitely that person is not going to get carried away in life either. Read the next. Ato nayam paratma syat Vijanamaya sabdabha Vikaritvat jadatvat Parichinnatva hetutah Drushyatvat vyavhicharitvat Nanityo nitya ishyate. Concludes with this verse, Vijanamaya kosha. Ataha, therefore, because we have discussed many things. Na ayam paratma iti. So this Vijanamaya kosha, this cannot be called as Paratma, Supreme Self. Why? Because he gives few, do you know? Vijanamaya Sabdabhak. What is that? That whatever we have talked as spoken as intellectual sit, intellectual kosha, Vijanamaya. What is that? First is Vikaritvat. So Vikaritvat means the one who goes through Vikaram, modification, changes. So because it is subject to change, I am someone is changeless. How can I be that? A changeless cannot be called as a subject to change. So that means because this Vijanamaya kosha goes through changes, you know, today I am, tomorrow, next moment, not tomorrow, next moment how I change, my thinking process changes? Definitely not. Then it says jadatvat, being inert, because by itself it cannot decide. It depends upon me. So being inert, this cannot be me either. Parichinnatva hetutah. It has its own limitations. That's why I say, I don't know. My mind does not work. I am not able to decide. Thank God, okay? So, parichinna hetutvat, because it is limited in nature, definitely I am being unlimited is out. Interestingly, drushyatvat is object of seeing, object of my perception. I am able to visualize, I am able to understand it. So me being able to see that, definitely what? Being object of my perception cannot be perceived. And of course, vyabhicharitvat. So vyabhichari means it fluctuates. We use this word vyabhichari, the one who fluctuates, not reliable. The right word is not reliable. Unreliable person is called vyabhichari. So vyabhicharitvat, it is fluctuating, not reliable at all. And of course, anitya, being non-eternal. How can it be considered as nitya, eternal? That means what? me cannot be called as Vijanamaya kosha. Then question may arise, okay, I understand everything. Maybe I am happiness, and the happiness comes in Anandamaya kosha. That's why everybody loves to sleep. So maybe I am Anandamaya kosha. But don't worry. Anandamaya kosha gives happiness because of tamas. So Anandamaya kosha is connected to tamas. We'll see this verse very carefully, few verses. Definitely that is not me, and why and how we'll see on Monday. Please close your eyes. Oh.